Hello, welcome back for more Haskell live coding. Plan for tonight is pretty much to take what we were doing last week and just do more of it. So I have servant and persistent working together. So I'm starting to get some of the data that I need out of the database rather than just storing it in memory. I've moved one of my two models over to that, so I'm storing information about an environment in the database, but I'm not storing information about bookings for that environment yet. So I guess move the booking stuff over, but then also I'd like to use, I'd like to update the query so that when you get the when you get the environment back, it will run another query to find out whether or not it's currently booked, and then fill in this field for whether or not it's available. So I guess that's the plan for today. Let's get started. Okay, so what are we doing? So last week, I was updating the implementation for various environment things, so listing the environments. It looks like getting the environment uses that as well, and creating the environment. Whereas all the booking stuff here is, you can see it's asking for the DB, so it's getting, it's using the old in-memory stuff. So we want to move that over, but also the other thing we were doing was when you get the environment, it's when you list environments. I think it was doing some stuff. Yeah, we have this env with status. And this is constructing a DAO environment out of an entity environment object. So we get the ID out using this nonsense. And then otherwise we just build the other fields. So we're always hard coding it to be available. That's the thing I want to change, but we need bookings to do that. And it's pulling them out of the environment. Yeah, this complicated query. Okay, so let's do bookings, I guess. So that's the environment, and then the booking, I forget what it has. Let's have a look in DAO. Okay, so environment has got ID and name, and then states will generate. Environment with booking, then we'll come back to later. The booking has got an ID, which we get for free. The environment ID we need to set up. The start time, and then the duration. Here we're just storing it as the number of seconds, I guess. Okay, so environment ID. I'm not sure who's booking it, but we can go back to later. So environment ID, the start time, and the duration. Okay, so we want to be able to JSONify this. So we'll have, I wonder how you do relationships between tables in persistent. Let's see if we can find out. This is not the thing I want, but it does have a link to persistent. So author ID is person ID. I guess this person ID makes it magic. Let's find out. So we'll call this env ID, and it should be environment ID. So here we can say env ID is environment ID. Everything's gone very red. Not scope environment ID. Perhaps I meant environment lowercase ID. There we go. Cool. Oh, amazing type checking. Okay, and then we've got booking from, or start time, I think I called it, which is, can I do, oops, sorry. Is there anything here about doing fancier types, like time and date? Seems like quite a common thing. Oh yeah, look at that. Persist value represents a column in SQL database. So name and age will be persist values. So they got text byte string int. What did they specify up here? String. Okay, I mean it's a byte string. An int. Int, which I guess just maps to that. So maybe I could just say UTC time. Seems as good a thing as anything, I guess. UTC time. Well, it compiles. And then the duration, I mean seconds, so we'll just store it as an int. Yeah, we can use our existing duration parsing, I guess. Okay, so booking. Not the status, not the status, none of this crap. So create booking. So I'm just going to look at the definition of create environment, what we're passing into there. Somewhere, create environment. It's going to grab that type signature. So create booking. Okay, so we need to take a booking input. We also take, I guess this ID is the environment ID. Yeah, I can see beneath I'm using it. So we will take our database connection and we're going to return maybe IO of the booking. Okay. So this DB, I'm going to rename it as pool, and then we'll use that to store the booking. So how do I open a thing? Open a thing. That's jumping to a line. There's some helper to list all of the things in this, all the symbols in this file, which I think is this one. Yes, it is. Cool. I'm actually going to copy all of this. Just paste it up there. Okay, so we're going to insert booking, and then we're going to need a whole bunch of fields for this. So we could say the first field in the booking is the environment ID, so something like env ID. Oh, we have the env ID, sorry, we pass it in separately. So env ID goes in there. Yeah, env ID is on its own. And then the next argument is the duration that comes out up there. So it's going to be start time B. Is that right? So if I go back to DAO for a second, it's booking from. Booking from a B, but I need to qualify that name. And then the duration, I should be able to see DAO.seconds from the booking. Okay, so I think I should do the insert. Then we're going to run it and maybe get the booking back. Okay, so we get the booking. Oops. We get the booking here. We will return DAO.booking. And then we'll need to construct this from the information we got back. Otherwise return nothing. Okay. And then down here, what were we doing before? We were looking up the environment or not? Oh, we were looking at the environment and passing it into here. Okay. So I think I can just delete all this code. Right. So DAO.booking. We've got two things going on. Right. So this is not happy. Couldn't match persistent empty backend with this argument, first argument insert. So we need to quickly have a look at how insert works. And then the second thing is that here I'm not constructing it properly. I'm just passing the type constructor. I need to pass in the arguments. So we need the ID, the time, seconds, and just the ID, times, and seconds. So we're not returning the ID of the object itself. No, we are. Sorry, it's this ID is the ID of the object. This ID is the ID of the environment, I think. I'm not making it easy on myself, am I? I'm going to change these models in a bit, so like booking and stuff, to match more closely the data that we have available from the database, where some of these maybes disappear. So the first one is the ID. So it's going to be just the booking ID. Of the booking. Is that thing? Booking ID of the booking. I need to check one of these into here. Okay, first argument. Second argument is just the env ID of the booking. Next argument is, I might put this over multiple lines because it gets a bit long. So it's going to be the start time. So we can say start time. No, what did I call it? The booking from. No, I called it start time here. So start time of the booking. Oh, I think it's going to be called booking start time to disambiguate the names. Of the booking. And the final argument is the duration booking. Okay, but it's not quite that straightforward, is it? Because the booking itself is an entity booking, is that right? Maybe it's not, maybe it's a booking object. Just have a look at what we had before. So in the create environment, no, we could call environment name on the thing we get back. So here we're doing pure just create environment with nothing is about, then available, and then the name that we got back from the database. Here we are creating it. So, not on scope booking ID, maybe I mean booking, it should be booking lowercase ID. Okay. Now what's it saying? Not on scope booking ID. Oh, the ID is really hard. I remember I didn't do this before. I'll come back and do that later. Right, env ID. So this is actually going to be booking env ID. Couldn't match key environment with int. This gets annoying. I'm just going to replace this with nothing. I'll fill it in a second, but I just want to make some of these errors go away and get it basically working. Booking start time of the booking. Couldn't match. Probably booking supplies too many arguments. Right, let's call this B prime or something. Because I wonder what it thinks this is. That's weird. Here it seems to be saying couldn't match type booking with actual type UTC time to int to booking. Probably because booking, this thing, is applied to too few arguments. So I think we've got a name clash here. I think it's a constructor or something. I'm just going to call this B prime. And then change that to be B prime. And it did not help, did it? B prime is applied to too few arguments. Okay. So what am I doing wrong here? Go back to create environment. We just called case maybe env of just env. So we have access to this env thing, and we can say, in this case, data environment, but then we can get the name out by calling environment name on the env. Down here, I want to call booking start time, which goes from a booking, which this thing should be. Oh, I didn't set it back. And goes from a booking of type. See, why is booking of type UTC time to int to booking? Because booking start time should just take a single booking and turn it into UTC time. So I'm a bit confused by this. If I do call this B prime, oops. What's the thing the type of B prime is? I think B prime is UTC time to int to booking. Let's have a quick look at the example, see if I'm missing anything obvious here. There. So if I return maybe a UTC time, and I return just booking start time here, does that work? No. Okay, there's another thing that could be going on here, which is maybe it's nothing to do with this code. Maybe it's to do with this type error. No, dollars unnecessary. Okay. It was that. Okay, so it was trying to infer the types, but I confused it up here when I was trying to create the thing to insert. So it can't match int with key environment. It expects something of type environment ID and it actually gets $id. So we need to convert an int into a key environment. And if I look at this, so from SQL key, there might be a to SQL key. In the example I had, when you create a blog post, they were using the ID to get back here, so it's already the right type of thing. Okay, so to SQL key takes an int64. God damn it. Okay, so if I say from integral here, we now have an int64. Wow, okay. So we're taking an int64, we're turning it back into a SQL key. And we're using that as the env ID for the booking, plus the other stuff. Okay, so we look at the thing that's calling create booking. I just need to change it now to pass in this database connection rather than the previous DB stuff, and then we should be great. So we're on here. We're not going to ask for the DB, we're going to ask for the DB con. And it's the third argument. Okay, I guess that's why I put it there. Made life easy. Okay, so it should compile at least. Will it run? Let's find out. Oh, I'm not running MySQL, and I put the Docker file somewhere a bit weird, I think. By accident, I forgot to move it. Pop it there, make it bigger. I think I left it in this top little Haskell by mistake. Yeah. I should just be able to run it from here. Okay, so if I run stack again, cool, it's created my new table and added a foreign key constraint. Very clever. Okay, so now if we should be able to use this command and this one as well. So we should have a post which created a booking. Yeah, it looks like it. Okay. That doesn't look quite right though to me. Because here I should include the env ID, I think. Oh, this is main. Okay, so it should have the roots in it. So to post a booking, it should be environments/something. This looks better. Okay, cool. So I'm going to post to environment 0 bookings. Do we have an environment 0? We have an environment 1. We're going to say booking from here, and the duration. How did that work? Can't remember. Let's just try and do it without the duration, see what happens. Key duration not found. Okay, good validation. Is the duration using the fancy new time parsing thing, so we can say like 8 hours? Don't know why 8 in particular. Apparently we can. Pretty good. Okay. So it's created something. I'm not seeing the IDs here because I put them to nothing because I hadn't done the from key thing. But it set the booking from time weirdly to last September. And then the number of seconds, which presumably is 8 hours. Okay, so can we get the booking? We don't have an endpoint for getting a single booking, but we can list them. So let's just jump into there. Oops, not there. Sorry, into here. So we're going to take the ID, which is the ID of the environment. Then we're not going to take a DB anymore. We're going to take this connection. I could have created a typo for this. I probably said this last week as well. So we pull. Okay. So now this might be our first interesting query, but maybe it won't be. So when we're listing the environments, I did this. So I'm going to create a helper. I think. First of all, let's rename this as bookings. I need to put some stuff in the select list, and then we'll say we're going to map the bookings into something like to booking. Where to booking, then we'll give it a type is going to go from entity booking into a DAO booking. Oops, DAO.booking. B is equal to DAO.booking. And then we're going to need some arguments. So the env ID we're going to get out of our booking somehow. So that part there is because I haven't got to do. So we're going to get the environment out somehow. I think I might call this. Oh, it's going to be just as well. So it's going to be just. Oops, of the env ID of B. Then the next argument is the. I had it down here somewhere. The start time. So booking start time of B and the duration. Okay, and then we can say the env ID is equal to this nonsense, so from integral but it's not going to come from entity key this time, it's going to come from booking MID. So we need to sort them at some point, but we can do that later. Okay. I called this con here for some reason, but let's call it pool. So now what's going to happen here? We haven't got seconds. Ah, yes, of course. The first thing is not the env ID, it's the ID. So it's going to be just applied to the ID of B, where the ID of B is this thing. So we're going to get the entity key of B and use that. Okay, and booking MID is booking environment, I guess. No, what did I call it? I called it capital D. That's why. Okay. So, oops, env ID. Okay. So now we're getting closer. This is going to get all the bookings back. It's going to fill in the ID based on this. The env ID could match actually type booking with entity booking. Oh, tricky. Okay. So how does this work? It's something like gets an entity value. Is that right? So we call environment in here, and then we call entity value of E. So we need to do that nonsense for all of these. Entity value of B. What's the problem here? Maybe my entity val. Perhaps I did. What do I use above? Entity val, yeah. Oh, so close. Okay. Can I break these up? There we go. Okay. So in theory now I can go back and fix my list bookings to use the DB connection. And that's it. That might be the last thing that was using the old DB, so I can start to clean up some code, but let's find out. First of all, let's see if it works. See if it compiles. Definitely a faster CPU. Okay, so I should be able to get environments back and should be able to go environments 1 bookings. Look at that, amazing, that's a booking we created. Not that amazing, but nice to see it working. Okay, so we're currently getting back all the bookings for all the environments, which isn't the right thing to do. Okay, so in this select list, let's have a look and see what it does. So what does it take? It takes filters and then select options. I need to see the documentation for this. So it's, they've got blog post author ID, so blog post author ID. So for me, it'll be booking environment or booking env ID equals dot. Okay. And then we don't need to do the limiting. Yeah, we can look at hopefully ordering it would be ideal. Okay. So in here it was booking, env ID equals dot, and then this key. And this key is to SQL key applied to from integral of m by d. Does it say move brackets? Show me. Okay, cool. Right, so that should only get the thing back, the bookings back for a particular environment. So let's see if that bit works, and then we can look at ordering them when we create some more. I don't have much code, but it's still slow to compile. I guess I don't have much code, but it does have template Haskell generating some stuff in the background every time. Cool, so now I get the bookings back for the correct environment. We'll just create another one quickly. So we'll do this one for 1 day starting on St. Patrick's Day. I should be drinking an Irish whiskey, but I'm not. I could pretend though. Today is 17th. That will do. Okay, so if I look at the bookings from environment 1, we now have 2 of them. And I want the most recent one first, I think. So can we say order by? Not in scope. Is there any suggestions? No. Okay. Documentation time. Let's have a look in here. Can we find order? Select hops. ASC. For constructors. So ASC. I could do desk. And then the field name. So it's been start time, I guess, or the booking from, I think we called it. So here we could say, oops, desk, and then booking, give me a hint. Oh, it can't give me a hint because it's generated. What's the field called? Booking start time. Okay, see if that works. Okay, so in theory, it should swap the orders here. Yeah, so the most recent one is first. Cool. And consistently first, always good. Okay, cool. So that I think has moved the bookings over. So a couple of things to do. I think I'm going to get rid of the DB stuff. I think I can do that. Let me do this in the right order though. So we're going to, oops, going to main. I'm going to find app config, which I put somewhere else in the file, obviously, to make life more fun. So I can get rid of this. Okay. I'll just shut it up for a minute. New type. Okay, so we have this dbcon. When we create the app config, we're only going to pass it this connection, which means that we no longer need this. Okay, so possibly now go back into here. I think I can get rid of this and this. Not quite. So get environment and end with bookings. I had not moved over. Guess a good way to find out is any. So do that for a second. Get environment. Did we not? We got get environment with bookings. Is this get environment used anywhere? I'll get rid of that as well. So get environment, we're calling get environment with bookings. Entirely different thing. So I think I can do that. 2 errors left. I don't want the warning. Okay, so I can't export these things because they don't exist. No warnings left, no errors left, sorry. Okay, let's try recompiling. So what was running? Can we still get the stuff back? Good. I assume it's fine because it compiled. Okay, I've got 15 minutes left, so maybe I can start the thing I wanted to do. Now that we have bookings in the database, I should be able to go to the database and say, is this environment available? So here, I just said it is available. But actually what we want to do is look up and see whether or not a booking exists for that for the current time, I guess. So we can say something like is booked. Is booked, let's go is available, because that's what I call the field. And for this, we're going to need to take a pull, which is a SQL backend, and we also need an ID, but it's going to be an env-ID, which is something like a key something. I'm going to get it wrong for a second and let it tell me what it wants. Maybe I could look it up somewhere. So where's my entity key? Is a key record. And this goes a key record to that, but for all record, entity key. I'm going to get it wrong. I'll just let the compiler tell me what it should be. Okay, we need to run this under IO, and it's going to return a bool, I think. Whoops, the brackets. Okay, I'm going to say it is available. And we've got our pool, and we've got the ID that we're looking for. And then we want a select statement. Okay. Back up here, put it in. Okay, so this is wrong code that I've copied. It's a select that I want. Come on. Right. Select. Okay. So we can say run a SQL pool. We will get back a list of bookings. That's fine. Okay, so we're going to select it where the env ID is this thing. If I change that to be env ID, and then it should give me the type error. And the thing we want to give back is pure of, is it null? Do I have null as a helper? That should, null to be is an empty list. Test whether the structure is empty. Okay. Okay, here you want key environment. Cute. Now what's it about? We got couldn't match type A0 to A0 with key environment. I didn't rename this. It's a horrible habit of calling things ID, but that is the ID function usually, and everything is confused. Okay, so we're going to look it up by, this will just return true if there are no bookings and false if there are bookings, I think. Which is not the logic I want, but it's a step forward. I'm going to test if it works as is. So it is available. Pool and then ID. No. So it wants down environment status, and I've got IO bool. Oh, okay, so we can say we can return that environment status here. And then we can say if no bookings, then here at the beginning because I think it's annoying. So if no bookings, then available. Else booked. Okay. And then here, we want to get this out and store it somewhere. So we can say available. This is available pool ID. And then here we should be able to just replace this with available. Available. Okay. No errors yet. Okay, so let's see if this, it'll be the wrong answer, but let's see if it returns available if there are no bookings and booked if any bookings exist at any time. Okay. So this is just getting environments back. Is it listing them or getting them? Creating them. Okay, that's, I put it into the wrong place. It's actually when I'm getting them that I want to do this work, not when I'm creating them. Because when I'm creating them, they will be available. Damn it. Okay. This is just going to be available. What was available when we create them? This one's a bit more interesting. Okay, so if we got an environment back, I should be able to copy this in. And to get the key back, I say entity key of the environment. Is that right? And then this should take available. Okay, it's really not happy. So good. What's the second error? Couldn't match environment with entity environment. Okay, what have I done to this? If I say just let available equal available that's okay. So it's when I'm calling is available that we have the problem. Okay, so this can come from here and then env. Here is available takes two arguments. It takes the pool and takes a key, and then it returns the environment status under IO. As soon as I type env here, it gets upset. Because it's converting env into that type. Okay. So to get the key out, where have we got an example of getting the key out? I call entity key on E. So here I should be able to call entity key. So I did this already on the env, but then it gets really confused as to what the type of env is. Okay. How do I get it to know that this, the type of this is maybe environment? And why is entity key breaking that? See, it now says env is entity environment, which seems correct to me. But here it says couldn't match expected type environment with actual type entity environment. So was it being really clever and not entitying it? Like, is it entity val? So that's not working either, because now it's saying couldn't match type with SQL backend. But I think it's a very misleading argument. Database persist get. Yeah, maybe that's not the best way of getting something to the database. The database persist get should be taking the ID I pass in, which is an int, turn it to an int64, turn it to an entity whatever. Okay, I think what I need to do is not this. So we're not going to pass in the env here, we're going to pass in the ID, and then we need to worry about this. So this will now be an int. Can I just make that in 64? Will it magically work? Or do I need to then say from integral? It does not magically work. Okay. So here I can say to SQL key from integral MID. Okay, and it'll fix the brackets for me. Okay. Right, so now when I'm calling this get environment booking, so if I get a single environment back, it should now work out whether or not it's available. It's nothing as well. I can change to just ID because I know it's found it. Okay, let's try it again. So if I get environment 1, I expect to say that it's not available because bookings exist. If I get environment 2, it should say that it is available because there are no bookings. That's my hope. M status is booked, and then if we get 2, it should say M status is available. Okay, so now we create a booking for 2, but we'll put it to be next month. Well, I get this wrong, because now when you get 2 back, it says it's booked, but it's not actually booked, because if we get the bookings back, it says that the booking is from next month. So what we need to do is not store this. We need to store booking from booking 2. And then when we do the database query, we can find where the current time is between booking from and booking 2. Yeah, but that's quite a bit of work, so I'm not going to do it now. So plan next week is to come back and fix this is available, this thing, to do booking from, well, to put the current time, to check if the current time is between the start and the end time of the booking. Which will require changing its duration to be end time. And then when we create a booking, we have this DAO seconds, so we can do booking from plus that many seconds to set the end time. Okay, but that's all for next week. Cool. So I'm getting better, I think, with persistent and servant. So we now have environments and their bookings in the database, but we're not correctly calculating whether or not a thing is booked. And there's probably a lot of tidy up, but lots of this kind of stuff. Probably make that a bit nicer. Maybe some, things like this where the keys are missing, I can start filling these in as well. And I guess when we're listing the environments, we can try and populate the booking status as well for every environment we get back. Oh, that's going to be messy. That's a lot of queries. I'll have to have a think about that. I guess what we could do is get back all of the environments. We do one query to get back all the bookings which are current, and then match them up. Probably the way to go. Cool, but I can look at all of that next week and start to make this behave in the correct manner. All right then, but making some progress, which is always nice. Thanks for watching along. Happy St. Patrick's Day. What can I do? Shamrock. Look at that. Totally Irish. Cool. Have a good week, and hopefully see you again next week. Thank you very much.